Now it's time to head down the Atlantic coastline, just a few hours by a comfortable Amtrak train, arriving at the biggest city in America, one of the great cities of the world, New York City. The program you're watching now is a quick summary of our tour, East Coast by train. Our comfortable Amtrak train delivers us right into the heart of Manhattan at Penn Station, where we hop in our taxis and head up to our hotel. We'll be staying in 57th Street at the Wellington Hotel. Very comfortable and convenient location. While we're here, we're going to be looking at the architecture of the city. We'll be enjoying some of the restaurants. We'll take some walks. See our Hawaii group out here for a walk. We're heading over towards 5th Avenue, just 2 blocks away. Taking a walk right in the heart of Midtown Manhattan. That's always a great activity in New York City, is just walking around. Just wandering through the 50s, 5th Avenue, the 60s, Lexington Avenue, over to 7th Avenue. This is just the city for walking. Into Donald Trump's golden birdcage, the Trump Tower. What a nice way to see 5th Avenue, which is one of the great streets in the world with its fabulous shops and beautiful buildings, one of which is St. Patrick's Cathedral. It's built in the Gothic style, so it looks like a building out of the Middle Ages from the year 1200, but actually it was just completed in 1878. So yes, it is a very old building. Crossing 5th Avenue by St. Patrick's to get over to Rockefeller Center now. The Channel Gardens and skating rink are surrounded by awesome skyscrapers. We've got 4 great buildings in a row there, 4 big boxes. There's McGraw-Hill, followed by Exxon, Time Warner, and Equitable. Those 4 big boxes. This is one of the most impressive collection of modern architecture that you'll find any place in the world. And it's all Rockefeller Center, but this particular neighborhood, it's all diamonds. So if you need a diamond necklace, diamond earrings, diamond ring, this is the place to buy it. The Diamond District. What a block for food, huh? Brazilian, Portuguese, Chinese, heroes. So just cruising along, you see how international this street is. All the streets of New York are international, but here we got an Italian restaurant, a Brazilian restaurant. There's a Chinese restaurant ahead of us, and we're just going by a Portuguese restaurant. You can get the whole world's foods in one block here at Midtown Manhattan. We're in Manhattan for 5 nights on our tour, so there's a lot of opportunity for fine dining and theater and some music. Next morning, we board our bus for the open-top tour of the Big Apple. This is one of those 24-hour tickets. You can hop on and hop off. You can use it part of the next day, and it's a fun way to get around town. Of course, the main way to get around New York is either by walking or by taking the subways or occasionally by taxi. But you do want to take a bus tour while you're here in the city. And we certainly include that as part of our itinerary of the tour of New York. And it shows us some of the highlights of Uptown and Times Square here, Midtown, and we'll go downtown on our city tour as well. Times Square is really the nerve center for the visitor. The Empire State Building was the tallest building in the world when it was constructed, and the Flatiron Building was also the tallest building in the world when it was constructed in 1902. Beautiful structure, slender gateway to Lower Manhattan, heading down south into Greenwich Village. As we head down through Soho, south of Houston, this has become an artistic center of the city. A lot of studios and artists' loft spaces are here, and Chinatown is nearby. It's become a huge Chinatown, sprawling, probably bigger now than San Francisco's Chinatown. Passing the Brooklyn Bridge, past the United Nations building. Taking a city tour on a bus like this is a nice way to get an overview of Manhattan, and it only takes about half the day. You go for about 3.5 hours with the tour guide on the bus, and then you're free for the rest of the day. Passing Columbus Circle at the foot of Central Park, we're going to be driving up and around the park, passing the Dakota Apartments, a famous place where John Lennon and many other personalities have lived, past the Chateau of the Upper West Side. Here's the largest Gothic cathedral in the world. It's St. John the Divine, still under construction after 100 years. Another cathedral nearby is Grace Cathedral. It's famous in the neighborhood for being actively involved in the social life of the community. And just next to it is Harlem, the center of black life and culture in New York City. It's not as bad as you might think. It's a regular residential, business, and commercial center. Yes, there are some abandoned buildings. There are some burned out lots. But all in all, Harlem is a fascinating place. Especially enjoyable from our tour bus as we just simply drive through. On the right, Central Park, and we're coming up on the largest natural history museum in the world.
On the left-hand side here is the Museum of Natural History. Anyone getting off for the Natural History Museum? Let me know now.
Let's hop off and plunge into the museum and take a quick look around. What we got here is the greatest collection of dinosaurs in the world. And their dinosaur room has just been renovated. They have an amazing collection here. It's been air conditioned and really put on a beautiful display, along with their ethno-history, their artifacts of the different vanishing cultures of the world. They have little scale models and dioramas of exotic villages in the far-flung corners of the planet. You could very easily spend half a day here, and there's a restaurant and snack bar inside if you want to take a break in their coffee shop to help get you through these many and diverse displays. The collection has 36 million objects, but fortunately they're not all on display, so you don't have to look at all of them, but you will find many things to delight in. This is one museum that's really dedicated to the whole thesis of evolution. Evolution of mankind, evolution of plants, animals, and evolution of dinosaurs. They have a brand new exhibit that just opened on biodiversity, and it is really state-of-the-art museum display. Another brand new knockout is the Hall of Planet Earth. You could easily spend a whole day here, but you've got to put the museum on your list of top 10 things to do in New York, even if it's for a few hours. Looking at a view across Central Park to the high-rises of Central Park West, we head back to our Hotel Wellington and run into a political demonstration, just another event happening in New York City. And the next morning we take another walk. We're going to walk through two forests in Manhattan. The first one is in Central Park, which is just a few blocks north of here. The second forest I had described, but let me just say that AT&T building, the Sony building, the IBM building, it's a concentration of high-rises that has got 9 of America's 20 biggest buildings. Boom, boom. You're walking through the canyons there, and it's really quite a sight to see. You have to remember to keep looking up, too, way up. And we'll look at a couple of the early skyscrapers in the history of American architecture. On our tour, we stay in New York for 5 nights, which gives us 4 complete days to have a really detailed look around. And one of the sites that we sure don't want to miss is Central Park, an oasis of greenery in the midst of the canyons of Manhattan. Central Park is nearly 1,000 acres that seems natural, but it's actually been completely man-made, designed by Frederick Law Olmsted. You can take carriage rides in the park, you can go bicycling, rollerblading. Of course, walking and strolling is the most popular activity here. We come out of the park at the Grand Army Plaza, which is the site of the Plaza Hotel. One of the most elegant hotels in New York, even after all these years. It's been refurbished by Trump, and it's looking good. Yeah, 5 stars.